Hey guys, welcome to episode number 8 of the Derby Current Live, and to start off this episode, we're currently 4th position, 27 points after 13 games, doing quite nicely. I don't know if I should be using a few more youngsters though, but apparently dynamic potentials aren't actually working, so I've had a look on anyway on Sophie for what the potentials are, just to get an idea, and they're still pretty good, like the high 70s, towards the 80 mark. I think Bogle's one of the best. I think he goes up to like an 84, 85, so definitely going to be using him. Bird also goes to over 80, but like the thing is, the idea of the dynamic potentials is, if I leave, for example, like Mason Bennett, if he just doesn't play anymore, he's just going to stay at 67, but apparently, if dynamic potentials aren't working, then he'll just keep growing because he's young. So yeah, it's a little bit annoying. Also, players like Rooney, for example, at 34, scored 15 goals so far, shouldn't downgrade in stats, but may, just because of dynamic potentials not working. So it's something we'll have to keep an eye on. I don't know if people have actually fully tested it though. That's the only thing I'm debating, because obviously you've got to play a good season with the player, see who's done well, see who's done badly, and then judge have they gone up the correct amount of ratings. So we have gone to a 4-1-2-1-2 diamond, just so obviously we do need to include Martin in the first team or bring him off the bench, either or. That's one thing I could do, just start with these two up front, but I think just keeping Martin for the time being, just give him a go. He did get a goal in the last episode, so that was nice to see. Going to try and get Knight and Sibley involved a little bit more at 18 years old. Should be getting them into the team a bit more. First game of the episode then is against Hull City, and one player that I actually just remembered who would be an absolutely fantastic signing. I have actually added him to the transfer hub, I believe. We'll eventually find them. There's a lot of players here. I do need to trim this down. I've just been adding players here and there, but Jared Bowen is quality at 22 years old, and his contract is expiring at the end of the season, so I'm going to keep a close eye on that. Potentially we could get him on a pre-contract in January. If not, maybe just purchase him for like 2 or 3 million, since his value is going to go down, since his wages are obviously expiring at the end of the season. So let's go into the game against Hull City away from home. I may actually change the lineup a little bit just to get a few more ex-Hull players involved. Kind of want to use the black kit, but at the same time, yeah, we'll go for the black kit. Here's the Hull City team then for today's game. No Jared Bowen, which is quite interesting since he is their best player. John Trell, though, in the cam position. Eves up front, Hamilton and Bowler out wide, Batty and Henriksen. Then they've got Davidges and Ritson in the centre-back positions. Obviously, Lichaj from Forest at right-back and Long in goal. Also, with the I mentioned that dynamic potentials are working. Also, when we do get eventually promoted to the Premier League, apparently a lot of the Prem teams still don't play their strongest team. They're playing like second teams, basically, like youth players. So we're going for Curtis Davis and Tom Huddleston in the lineup for today's game, just because obviously they used to be Hull players, and that tends to lead to some goals. Marriott with the ball. Can he slip through Chris Martin? Yes, he can. Now with the shot into the back of the net. I think Chris Martin was on loan at Hull last season. I'm pretty sure he was. I'm about 90% sure he was at Hull. And he has scored against his former club, of course. It's nice to see him on the score sheet again, since he did get his first goal in the last episode. Just let go by Marriott in the last second, and pretty good finish. Rooney into Marriott, cross to Bird. It's in the box, now with the shots. On his right foot, and it's cleared off the line. Somehow, I don't quite know how. Huddleston here, though, has been blocked. Back to Martin. Huddleston again, over the bar. Martin on the ball here, into the box. Now with the shot, into the back of the net. Chris Martin doubles the lead with his second goal of the game. It's nice to see him actually doing quite decently now. Don't know why this is a new thing. You literally run straight into the camera. It's a bit scary. Yeah, it seems like he's just like, since the goal, it's kind of unleashed him, and now he's getting plenty of goals for us. Hopefully we can get Martin his hat-trick. He's just about won the ball off the defender here. Now the chance with the shot into the back of the net. And there is the hat-trick for Derby's number 19. Very nicely done. And that's what I want to see. Like, if I'm going to be playing my strikers up front, I want to see him scoring. Obviously we did make the bet that he has to play in every single game, since he did score in the Leeds game. But yeah, it's, you know, he's just got his big body behind that clearance and hit that well into the back of the net. Here we go, ball in the box with the shot, and that's back of the net. It's what we didn't want to happen. It's not going to affect the scoreline. It is the former Burton Albion man, Jackson Irvine, with the goal there. It was just clipped into the middle, and then he's just put it in. I don't know, maybe just like switching off and not quite tracking runs is what I did there. There we go, full time against Hull City, a nice 3-1 victory. Chris Martin with the hat-trick, getting all 3 points for us, very nice indeed. And I think that formation did well. I think like their goal was kind of, I don't want to say lucky, but it wasn't. It was against the run of play, definitely. As you can see here, just clipped into the middle. I don't know if Curtis Davis could have done a bit better just if he stayed in position, and then maybe the keeper could have done a bit better, but at the end of the day, we got the result, and that's all that matters. So I've actually edited the manager a bit. I will show you quickly how to do that. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's a little tab that says how to edit the manager, which is quite nice. Like if you're doing like 4 or 5 seasons, you don't want your manager to look identical. You want him to have different hairstyles and different outfits and stuff. So that's an, you know, that's one benefit from this year's career mode. You just go over to the office and then edit manager, and then you can like go into the head. I don't think you can actually change the info page, but like all the face, the nose, and all that, you can go change all these and completely make a new manager. So that's kind of nice. Obviously the outfits is what I'm mainly going to be looking at. If there's anything that you guys want me to, you know, wear or anything, just let me know. Yeah, it's a nice little thing. So I've got a message here from George Thorne, who technically is on loan at Oxford, and he did it. I don't know if he broke his arm, but he definitely came off injured the other night against West Ham. So I'm not too sure what to do with him at the club. Obviously, we've got a number of young central midfielders I'd rather play over him, since there's like Bird, Sibley, and Knight. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one, George Thorne. I'm not too sure if we'd really need him. Into the next game then against Cardiff City. It is the Carabao Cup, so we will be making a number of changes just to obviously accommodate with the Cup. Obviously you've got to rotate the side a bit. We'll go for their blue kits, since we did play against the orange one in the what's it called? In the league. So what I'll do is I'll put Martin on the bench since he's a bit low on fitness. I'm kind of tempted to drop Rooney just because I feel like we do maybe just swap Bird for Knight, just because it's a bit low on fitness. Other than that, maybe go Keller-Roos in goal just because it's the Cup. But at the same time, I'd rather just keep this guy, and he's 17 years old. If I can just keep boosting him up in ratings, that's great. I would like to get Josephson involved, but like, where would you play him in this team? Would you go just up front with Waghorn, maybe? Here we are then for the round of 4 Carabao Cup game. We have made a number of changes for this one. We've gone for Buchanan at left back. I think at 5'9", I just don't really see him playing in the central positions. Then George Evans is in the holding midfielder. I haven't actually played him too much, with Knight and Shinnie also, and then Doubt in the Rooney role. And then I've gone to Josephson and Waghorn up top, so similar-ish to like Marriott and Martin, obviously one pacey and one strong. Then you got the Cardiff team here, Joe Day in goal. It's actually quite a strong team. I'm not too sure about Sean Morrison at left back though. Bakuna and Bolger at the holding midfielders. Then Hoylett, Mendes Liang, and Waite and Isaac Vassell up top. It's a pretty strong team compared to ours, but still we've got a pretty good team, and hopefully we'll go to the next round. As you can see, Josephson's pace, he just makes his way around the defenders quite nicely. Obviously, in the league we did, I think Tom Lawrence got a hat-trick, so it'll be interesting to see how we do with the new formation, and no Tom Lawrence. Chance here for Waghorn to slip through for Josephson. He's got the absolute blistering pace to run through on goal. Now with the shot. That's the thing about him. The thing with him and Bennett is they have the pace, it's just the end product. Should be scoring there. That should be 1-0. Chance here to slip Waghorn through for Josephson. Now with the finesse shot into the back of the net. And that's what I want to see, the two strikers linking up nicely. I think it was a back heel from Waghorn with the assist here. Yeah, really nice through the legs of who's number 30? It's not Morrison, it's the other one. Yeah, it's a really nice goal, to be honest. It's what I need to happen, basically. They're playing quite a high line, so Josephson's getting a lot of space. George Evans with the ball here. Through for Dwayne Holmes straight off the bench now with the shot inside of the post and into the back of the net. That is what you call an impact sub from the American. He hasn't scored too many, but I do use it quite a bit, and he's just nice. I'm not too sure what that was there. He had a bit of a glitch, but yeah, nice first touch, then just across the keeper into the back of the net. There we go. Full time against Cardiff. We have won 2-0 on the day. Obviously, Jozasoon and Dwayne Holmes with the goal. Not exactly the most common of places for the goals, but Jozasoon's actually been surprisingly good this career mode so far. Message here from Tom Huddleston. Unfortunately, you've got really bad stamina, so you can only play you one game at a time. We do also have a message. Transfer fee of George Thorne. I think they will accept it just because he is about to expire on his contract anyway. It is for... Is that Standard Liège? Why... Bit of an odd team, but we'll accept it anyway. He's technically out on loan, and I don't see him being a part of my plans at any point anyway. So with that win in the first game, the episode against Hull, it does put on to 30 points, 2 points ahead of Forest and 3 points ahead of Leeds, but obviously Fulham and Stoke a point ahead. So obviously we did sign these players in the last episode, Conti and Richie, or Ricky or whatever his name is. I think this one's okay, 51 rated, and you've got a pretty good potential, but this guy, you know, it's not at 16 as well. That's the thing. This guy's a lot younger, but we'll leave him there for the time being. But I really don't enjoy using youth players just because they're not real. Basically, I'd rather use, because there's plenty of players that are like 17 on the game, and you can sign them and basically do the same job. But yeah, I think we are going to play this next game against Middlesbrough. We've done a couple of games so far, done well with the new formation, which is good to see. It's kind of similar to the formation I was playing with the 5 at the back, but you've just got an extra midfielder instead of a centre back. We have had a bit of growth to some of the players. I'm interested to see if some of the older players have been downgraded, but as you can see, Holmes has gone to a 70, Bogle's gone to a 73. That's good to see. We've also got a bit of growth here to Dowell and Knight. Also, maybe somebody else. It'd be interesting to see what happens to these. Oh, Keogh's actually gone down in a rating. Same with Curtis Davis has gone down. So, yeah, maybe you have to, since we haven't played Curtis Davis a lot, but we still play him a reasonable amount. Here we are then for the home game against Middlesbrough. They are currently in the relegation zone, so it should be a reasonably easy game for us, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, we have had to make a few changes to the team just because of fitness. Obviously, we played Tuesday to Saturday or Wednesday to Saturday, either or. So we put Curtis Davis into the defence, Huddleston in the holder midfielder role. I could have probably played Shinnie over Holmes, but I just felt like we need something a little bit more up front than defensively. It's more unlocking the door, which I have troubles with, than defending. Looking at their team, then they've gone for the 4-3-3. Randolph in goal, then Dick Steele in right back, then Bowler, Ryan Shot, the former Derby man, then Wood next to him, Paddy McNair, Liddell and Saville in the midfield. Then they've got Brown, Tavernier and Assombalonga up front. It's an interesting. I don't know, I always find it funny, like Saville and Liddell in the midfield, and McNair. They're not. I don't know. Middlesbrough has signed some very interesting players from teams that kind of struggled, but you never know, they might do well today. Who's with the ball here? We haven't really got too many options. I'm just wait for Rooney here. Cross to Marriott, into Martin. Hopefully he can go around the defender. Now with the shot into the back of the net. Lovely bit of football there. And Chris Martin, on his weaker foot, gets his, what will that be, fourth or fifth goal this season. I think it's what... Like, ideally I'd play Waghorn and Marriott up top, but because I did the stupid tweet about, oh, if Martin scores against Leeds, we've got to play him in every game, but I don't mind it. He's a fun little player. He's obviously quite bulky, and well, good at holding up the ball. It's his 5th goal this season. Chance if in Middlesbrough in the box. Clark's going to have to get the foot in, and has. Up to Marriott to Martin. Goes around the defender. It's clean through on goal, but obviously not the most rapid of footballers in the world. Eventually going to get the shot off into the back of the net. Chris Martin, what a great guy. Great singer and great footballer. You know, we've literally... I don't know, it's lovely to have him back at the club and actually playing. It'd be interesting to see how much, since the Leeds game, he does play. It'd be interesting to see if he plays against Birmingham, maybe as this video's uploaded, I think that game will be going on. Waddleston with the ball in to Max Bird. He's actually really good. Like, he doesn't feel like a 61 rate of play. Feels like a 70. Not the best at finishing, but like dribbling and passing wise, he's yeah, it's something around a 70, maybe even 75. Just gonna wait for the overlap of Bogle. Hasn't got the best of stamina in the world because he does play a lot of games, but I've flicked it back here to Martin, now into Marriott with the shot into the back of the net. And I think this episode, since the change to the 4-1-2-1-2 diamond, it's been very good indeed. Marriott with a goal there. Could have potentially got Martin his hat-trick, but you know, it's just nice to make sure you get the goal. And I see Marriott on the score sheet. He hasn't scored that many goals, but at 24 years old, I don't mind because he has actually got about 7 or 8 assists now. Cuts back for Marriott. Can Rooney get a chance to get a goal here? He's gone through the defence with the shots. It's penalty. Ryan shot against his old club. Has got the captain's armband on and just a yellow card for him. Not too sure why he's got a face scan. Like, where was he playing? He was at Birmingham. Before that, he was at... Who was that before we signed him? Yeah, it's interesting he's got a face scan anyway. I kind of want to give it Martin just to get him the hat-trick, really. I think that's only fair, really. I haven't taken too many penalties on FIFA 20, so I could cock this up quite well. It's gone off the post. Yeah, just not too sure with penalties this year. There we go, full time against Middlesbrough. 3-0 victory. Good to get the clean sheet, of course. A couple of goals for Chris Martin. We did actually sub him off. That's one thing, obviously, because we haven't to play him every single game. It's just poor for Middlesbrough. I'll show you why this episode's been so easy. I know I want a bit more of a challenge, but at the same time, I don't want to fiddle with the sliders too much because we did play against some pretty easy teams if you look at the table. Transfer fee for Forsyth from Cardiff City. I think we haven't played him. I don't think. Maybe played him once or twice. We could have sold him for a little bit more at the start of the season, but let's accept an offer for Craig Forsyth. Obviously, we've got Malone. This is probably something that might happen in real life, but we have got the scout put back here for Jared Bowen, who is his contract is expiring in 8 months, so definitely look to get him on a pre-contract if we can in January. So with that win, it does put us into second into the automatic promotion positions. Obviously, only 1 point up behind from Fulham, but as you can see, we did play Middlesbrough second bottom of the league with a ridiculously bad goal difference, and then you got Hull City, or just above in 18th. So it's kind of hard to judge. Obviously, we did beat Cardiff, but then again, it was the cup. So I don't know. Do you guys think I should make it a little bit more difficult on the sliders? We've changed them a little bit, but I think maybe changing them a little bit more might be what I need to do, just in terms of like pass error. Maybe reduce that down a bit just so they don't pass as badly. One thing I do want to look at is because we haven't actually had an injury yet, have we? So let's go put these up a little bit, just because, you know, it just mixes up a bit if a player gets injured and stuff like that. Yeah, it's quite interesting that we haven't actually had a single injury yet in the career mode. Maybe just because of my squad rotation, we're doing well. Line height specifies how. I think if I increase that means the line length. No, line height. There we go. So giving them a higher line will mean they attack more, but then again, I could counter attack them. It's a bit of an interesting one. Obviously, you got to get these as close as you can. Obviously, just getting rid of these down a bit is always helpful. Another transfer from Huddersfield, this time for Craig Forsyth. I will accept that as well. As I said, we've already got 3 left backs at the club. We are going to go into a bit of training though before ending off this episode. It's been a pretty productive one in terms of overall results, and obviously finding the formation that works quite well with the squad. We do have, obviously, losing Bennett and Lawrence. It means we don't quite have the same amount of numbers out wide, so playing something without wingers makes a lot of sense. We could always do it. Obviously, Holmes and Josephson and Waghorn all can play out wide. Same with Patterson, of course, but I think it just makes more sense, especially because we have to play Martin, to basically play this kind of shape. So it's working well so far. Rooney didn't do that well though. That's the only thing about this formation, is the centre attacking midfield just ends up over here for some reason, which I'm not too sure why. Maybe can I put him on to like stay forwards? Yeah, we'll leave that so he just stays further up the pitch, because I found a lot of the time it's nice to have that cover, but I'd rather have him towards the front of the pitch, obviously, to keep his goal scoring record up. So we are going to finish off this episode here. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Let me know in the comment section down below on anything transfer related. Obviously we're only a month away now from December, then we're going into January, and we'll probably make a signing or two. So yeah, we've got a great way to start off the next episode with away at Nottingham Forest. We've got a few players here. It's interesting that even though Keogh and Lawrence haven't played, and Rooney's back in the England team, that's quite funny. But we have actually sold a couple of players here. We've sold Craig Forsyth and we've sold George Thorne, but obviously they won't leave until January anyway, which is probably what's going to happen in real life anyway, so it's not that unrealistic. So I think that's a good bit of business. Obviously it means we have to sign, I don't know, we don't need a left back. I don't think that's an issue. I think maybe a centre back, just because obviously Keogh, we're not too sure. We're waiting for what the club officially announce on what kind of punishment they get. Obviously Curtis Davis is getting on a bit, and Buchanan's not exactly quite at the level. So maybe an extra defender, but obviously we could always go George Evans at centre back. There's a number of options that we do have. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this episode. Leave a like, rating if you did enjoy, and see you soon. Bye.